What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shayla, the creator of JunkDrawerMom, where hiding is overrated. Alright, so if I'm gonna talk about it, I gotta be about it. This channel was made so that I could express transparency, so that I could help women that might possibly be going through the same thing as me. And so this is why I'm sharing the story with you today. In an effort to stay true to myself and man, free to just be. I think that we as women are too proud sometimes to admit faults, to admit things that happen to us, to admit things that we're struggling with, and I don't want to be that way. I think I was that way for so long. I hid so much of myself for so long that I don't want to do it anymore. Honestly, it's way too much work. So that's why I'm sharing my story with you today. Now, most of you guys know that all 4 of our children were surprises, and this one was no different. I caught myself trying to prank my husband one Father's Day. This happened in June of 2018, and I was going to fake a pregnancy test, and I was going to give it to him as a gift, or I don't know what I was going to do. I was gonna prank him somehow. That's kind of what I had in my mind. I was like, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test and like fake it, right? So I take the pregnancy test, and lo and behold, it's positive, and I'm like, what the heck, right? So after that, you know, obviously, like I told him and everything, and it was like, dang, really? We're about to have 5 kids? Yikes. But then, you know, as any new parent, it's just like, okay, like, we about to have 5 kids, let's do it. Like, I'm ready, I'm excited, you know. And so 2 days later, I started bleeding. You know, you start Googling things, and of course, down the wormhole of Google, it's like, y'all know what I'm talking about. Google is like doom and gloom sometimes. And so what I ended up doing was I called a local like midwife institution, and I spoke with them. I told them what happened. They asked me if I had any miscarriages before, that whole thing. So what they did was they recommended that I need to go see my doctor and do a blood test so that they can check my HCG levels. I ended up not doing that because I just kind of knew in my heart of hearts that it wasn't a viable pregnancy. And you know, especially as a Christian, you get all those people that's like, you know, don't speak negatively, like, you know, speak life and that sort of thing. But like, when you're going through something, I think, especially something so personal as a miscarriage, I feel like I've had 4 children. I know enough to be in tune with my body and to actually know what's happening. And so I just decided to wait it out, honestly. It turns out that what happened was I would have only been, according to my cycle and all that stuff, I would have only been like 3 weeks pregnant. And so what they call that is a chemical pregnancy. What a chemical pregnancy is, it's an extremely early miscarriage. And so likely it wasn't even a viable egg to begin with. And so I think receiving that news kind of put me at ease a little bit. I still went through kind of a grieving process, and we had the whole discussion of, do we really want another child, and are we meant to have another child? And I just think that going through all of this has given me a little bit of insight to women who have had miscarriages, or those who experience infertility, you know, to be trying to have a child and then to get pregnant, but then to have it like slip right through your fingers, I think is devastating for a lot of women. And to have to then admit it, or to tell people, or for people to find out, I think it feels very shameful. It's embarrassing, it's awkward. And I went through that whole spectrum of emotions, and you know, I don't know, I think that I can definitely sympathize with those of you who've experienced that. I tell you what, I don't ever want to experience it again. I really feel that, you know, we as women need to come alongside one another with support, with a shoulder to cry on, to just to talk, to encourage, to uplift. I think it's so important. And I know that for me, the only way, or the biggest way that I was able to get through this whole process was my relationship with God. And I know that people say that all the time, and it sounds, you know, so cliche and all that, but it really is true. Without my relationship with Christ, I wouldn't be, I don't think I would have been able to emotionally handle this experience. And so I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for my husband, who was there every step of the way with me. And the few people that did know, I'm thankful for your love and your support in my life. And I don't know, I really feel that if you are going through this, or you have, or you know somebody who has, like, I just want to ask for you guys to just open up a space where you can talk about these things, where you can really deal with it, and not just talk about it like, oh yeah, you know, I had a miscarriage, or, you know, but like to not, I don't want to say normalize it, but to just create a space where women are comfortable to talk about it, to help them through the journey, through the emotional journey, because it is a process. There are still some days where I think about, like, man, what if we would have had a fifth kid? And so I guess my main thing is, if you have gone through this and you're holding it in, please don't. Please be brave to talk about it with somebody, anybody. If you have to go to therapy, if it's a friend, a family member, if it's a stranger, whoever, I don't know who that person is for you, but don't hold it in. And there's a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and one of the ladies in there, this just happened like 2 days ago. She said, don't crush yourself under the weight of your own judgment. And I think that statement is so powerful. You know, we as women can be very proud, and we can say, or we can feel like, well, I can't say that, because then to say that, or to admit that I had a miscarriage, or to admit that I'm struggling with blank, would mean that I'm not good enough, or I can't. And to me, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you need help, to admit that you're struggling with things. And I think for a woman especially, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, I can be my hardest critic. And I know that if I don't talk about things, the battlefield of my mind, I'm constantly going back and forth about, well, I should have done this, I should have done that, you know, what if I, you know, should have said this, or I shouldn't have said that, or I wish that. It's just all the, you know, #mom guilt that we go through. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy to harbor those things, because I feel like then it translates into the way that I parent my children. It translates into my marriage. It translates into how I interact with others. And so I think that you've got to have a space where you can talk about this, where you can grieve, where you can grow. And so I really want to encourage you. That's really all the point of this video is. If you've gone through this, I want to encourage you to be brave, and to talk about it, and to heal, and to get better. So that's all I have for you today. Don't forget, hiding is overrated, and I'll see you next time.